You know, basketball's right around the corner, and it seems like it's going to be here before we know it. But we just finished our 16th practice of the 30 that the NCAA allows us to have. So, you know, where we at? The good thing is, I really, again, I think maybe we're a little bit ahead because of the opportunity that our administration and the Hardwood Club gave us this summer to go on the foreign trip, which allowed us to have 10 extra days of practice. And so that's the good news. And I think that we really benefited because of so many guys that had not gotten to play. Obviously got a chance to get some minutes that, you know, not with just the teammates, but also with the coaching staff. And so, you know, probably the first 10 days of practice this fall probably advanced us, but now we're kind of in that grind that, you know, we got 14 more days of practice. We're actually going to go this Sunday, and we have a scrimmage, so that'll give us a little bit better of an idea of what we're going to be doing. So I like this group. Again, our depth is not like probably what we'd like for it to be. The guard play is definitely got more experience than probably we've ever had since I've been here, especially with obviously Tez and D'Angelo and Kevin getting to play a lot of minutes last year that probably in a normal situation wouldn't have played as much, but it's benefited us. And now we've added you know, some transfers that sat out last year, Tyree Griffin and Dominique McGee. So I really believe that our depth in that area and quality has definitely taken a step forward. Inside, Eddie and Tim's probably not as far along as we would like from being out as much as he was. His weight really, you know, he got really out of shape and he gained a lot of weight. But now, since school started, he's dropped about 20 pounds, so that's helped him, but he needs to go down another 15 probably, and is working on it to do that. So, you know, we knew that that was going to be an issue, and he's probably not going to be as in good a shape as we need him to be when we start the season, but come conference play, then he should be in really good shape. Eddie, again, is a guy that, you know, this is his 4th year also, but really just a 2nd year, so because of all the injuries. But the good news is right now we're having to play those 2 guys at one spot because neither one of them are in good enough shape to play together. So we're going to be small, especially early. We've moved, you know, Anthony to kind of that mismatch position. We've moved Drain to that mismatch position, and they've picked up on it. So our speed's going to be better, and right now I can't say that I'm not really pleased, because I am. And we just again we've got to you know, we've got to continue to work like we have the first 16 practices.
That mismatch position you're talking about, is that the same deal that Quentin?
Yeah, Quentin, and you know, then the year before that, what's in that, Miles State, getting old. Cortland Jackson, yeah, Cortland. It's just, you know, it's kind of the way basketball's gone, really. You know, a mismatch position, and obviously. It maybe affects you a little bit on the defensive end, but I think you can do some things defensively to help yourself. Rebounding is definitely going to be a concern with that, but you know, offensively the ball moves a lot better when you got that position, and I'm pretty happy with that. And there's going to be times that we actually probably play Kevin and especially early we're going to play Kevin and Cortez at that mismatch spot too.
Talk about that mismatch position a little bit more as far as what it is? It's sort of a hybrid type?
Yeah. You know, it's just, again, on the offensive end, you're playing with probably a more skilled player than you are size player. In the way we want to play and getting it up and down the court, it's really a fourth guy that can handle the basketball, and you're going to allow to handle the basketball. And as I mentioned before, it's kind of like, you know, the guy for the Warriors, Green, kind of like that, or you know, the guy at San Antonio, Kwame. I mean, basketball's just gone to a smaller, more skilled player than post-up, low post play. And so we'll do that also.
Just be more the 4-hole where you're putting more of a
Yeah.
smallish kind of guy.
Well, and get the ball moving.
Yeah.
You know, and he's going to be the guy that trails, so you get your offense faster. You know, obviously, if you were to play Eddie and Tim together, you're going to be slower, but you're going to probably be a better rebounding team. But you know, I do think it's going to really help our scoring, and it's going to give us an opportunity to score easier. And then we just got to be tough enough and you know, come up with some different schemes to play on that other end. Obviously, you're giving up something. You're giving up offensive, you know, rebounding. But we just got to figure out a way and hope that our transition baskets will be better. You know, maybe you can get 6 points a game in transition, and you just got to fight harder on the defensive boards. And so that's what we're looking at.
You mentioned Penny Hampton.
Yeah.
He redshirted last year. So what can people expect from him?
Again, Penny can really shoot the basketball. Is a guy, even though at his size, is a good rebounder. He really is a good offensive rebounder, probably a better offensive rebounder than he is defensive rebounder right now. But you know, again, with the way the game's going, with the ball screens and all those type things, you know, just like last year with Quentin, you saw his numbers really go to a different, you know, 4 or 5 points better when he went to that spot. Well, Penny shoots the ball better than Quentin, and so he's not as skilled as Quentin. So, you know, where Quentin can maybe put it on the floor a little bit better and maybe make some other guys a little bit. Penny's not there yet, and but defensively he could be a really, really good defender. He's got length, he's got athleticism, and he's not afraid to get hit, and so that's good.
With the transfers having been at least here last year, how's that worked out in terms of maybe guys taking more of a leadership role and,
Right.
you know, the face is familiar, at least to the folks that have been around?
Well, again, it's like anything else, you know, when they're sitting out, they're probably a lot better than they are when they're playing because you don't pay any attention to them. But, you know, especially with Tyree. I mean, Tyree's the only player that's sitting in this room besides some coaches that have participated in NCAA tournament play. And it's just different. And, you know, it doesn't just happen. You've got to be willing to put the effort and the time into it to be able to have a chance to play in it. And you know, right now it's no fun, but at least he's been through it, and you know, he can share that with the team. And so there's no question, probably more so him than Dominic.
Okay.
You know, the leadership, we're not depending on Dom to give us that leadership role because he's just not done it before. Now, I will say this about Dom. Dom's probably as good offensive scorer as I've coached in a long, long time. I mean, anywhere. I mean, he can go get you a basket. And that's obviously better than any play you can draw up. So he just, you know, bottom line, he really hasn't played in 2 years or 3 years. And so he's trying, as I'm trying to impress upon him, is that, you know, he's trying to get caught up in 16 practices what he's missed in 3 years. And because when you're sitting out, you're trying to get other guys ready to play, you know, so you're not being coached basically. And so he really hasn't been coached, but I'm telling you now, he can score baskets, which is really, really, that's a good thing to have. There's nothing like sitting over there going through 3 and 4 minute spurts without being able to score. And, you know, he can go get you a basket, at least get a good shot. He has so much area in the other areas to improve on though. And, you know, it's crazy that the one area that probably he has to improve the most on is his conditioning. And to be as good an athlete as he is, I mean, but when you don't get out there and compete in games, you know, it's just a different deal. And he hasn't done that. And so it's really, really going to be important those first 8 to 10 games that he gets himself in elite conditioning.
Would you say that, describing that he's the type of guy who can kind of take over a game or
Yeah.
get you a basket or whatever, the closest ones you've had like that here have been probably Chip Armland
Yeah,
and
probably.
Cortland Jackson?
Yeah. And
So he's
I
head and
think
shoulders.
well, I don't know about head and shoulders, but I definitely think offensively he is as good as I've coached in a long. I mean, he could get you 20 points a game and give up 30 on the other end right now. So you know now you're only down 10. So, but now he can score. Yeah, he can score. He can score. And something as small as being left-handed really helps him. I mean, it's just a different, you know, you're left-handed, man. It's, you know, you're not defending that every day usually. And so that helps him also. And the other thing is his mentality is go score it. I mean, you know, Chip and Cortland was too, but, you know, Quentin, sometimes you had to prod him to be not, I mean, selfish and a good selfish. I mean, he was too selfish the other way. And, you know, we need Dom to score, so he's got to be selfish and go get you baskets.
Coach, how many guys are you guys able to sign the next signing period?
We're going to try to probably sign 2 and maybe 3. Yeah, probably 3. Right now, the way it looks, depending on how we do it, we could get to a full roster next year with 13, but if we do something a little bit different, we could add someone maybe not to play this year, but we could add somebody at Christmas, and if we do that, then we would only be able to have 12 next year. So one way or the other, at least we'll be closer. And, you know, right now we're basically playing with 9 scholarship guys.
Coach, you said in the, here lately with this basketball team, it's the best you probably have had since you've been here. Can you talk about with the number situation, how hard that was for you to get to this level because of the scholarships?
Well, I think more than anything, not so much me, because I think as, you know, coaches, you understand these deals. You understand them going through them. You understand more than anyone else that what is going on and what, I mean, it's difficult. I think it's probably harder on players because they've never gone through that. And they all think they're ready to play, but we've had a lot of dudes that hopefully now that's going to benefit us, that as freshmen and sophomores were put out there when they weren't ready to play at all. They probably didn't realize that at the time, but they do now. And so, you know, I mean, we can all sit around and say about how really there's not been anything that's happened that's made me think that it was any harder or any easier, because I knew what it was fixing to be like, and it's not over. But the good news is I do think it's going in that right direction, because we got some guys that deserve to be playing now when they're playing, and we've got more of those guys. You know, we were playing guys that didn't deserve to play because they wasn't ready. Now, hopefully, we'll see a little bit of reward from that. And you know, and basically, I'm talking about Cortez and Kevin and even Tim and Eddie. You know, they've been thrown in there when And now you gotta hope that they're gonna benefit from it a little bit.
Coach, at this point, have you has there been a settling of, say, roles or starting lineup, for example, or are you still kind of sorting through that?
Probably 4 spots,
Okay.
but still can change, could change from game to game right now, depending on who you're playing. Obviously, we're going to go with the small lineup because Tim and Eddie's just not in condition right now to play. They're going to be playing about 4 minutes at a whack at a time, and then I'm going to have to get them out. So we're going to be playing small, and so depending on right now, probably 4 positions are pretty solid, and the top 6 is really solid.
Yeah.
And then you would, you might just, depending on who you're playing, switch that out a little bit. Not based on performance, but just who you're playing.
Have you got a certain defense you want to use primarily, or you just
Yeah,
gonna throw-
that's, I've always been a man-to-man coach, and we will continue to be that. We just still don't have the depth to play full court. This team would really, really be a good full court defensive team, but we just can't afford. We'd be wore out, because you just don't have the depth. To do that, you can only play some of them guys 29 to 31, and we need these guys playing 34 to 36 minutes a game. And so we're gonna. We'll probably play some zone more than we've ever played. So, and maybe even not so much zone, maybe some gimmick stuff. Some boxing ones or triangle 2s or some things like that maybe. Because the good thing is the guards, for the most part, really, really have good basketball IQ. And so to do that, you got to really play off each other and, just try to go make plays, but somebody's got to see that you're making that play and can cover for you. For the most part, our guards can do that. We've got a couple that, that we struggle with, but you can always put those dudes that struggle in that position that's guarding man to man, and the other guys play off each other. So,
Anything else?
yeah.
Coach, with the schedule itself, can you talk about that a little bit? Having so many guys that they're still learning to
Sure.
be with each other, and then you get a game like Michigan.
Yeah, early on the road, yeah. Everybody likes to play those so-called name schools, including the players and all that. So that's just something that we do, and obviously, it's able to help all the programs that we do that, and that's not going to change. I mean, that's just the way the so-called mid-majors are. I mean, they've got to play games just like football has to play some games to help the programs. Men's basketball and football are the 2 sports that people will pay for you to go play those games. And so that's something that's probably not going to change unless somebody just hits the lottery and decides to give us a bunch of money. But the schedule, the schedule is pretty good. I mean, you're looking at, not just Michigan, but I mean, Troy's coming off with 4 returners, an NCAA tournament team. South Alabama's got the best team they've ever had. Then you go to Florida State, go and play Mississippi State, which is our home game this year, and in Jackson. So the South Dakota tournament is going to be a good tournament for us. So yeah, it's a competitive schedule. It's a competitive schedule, and but that's the way it is, and yeah, I like it. If you were asking me, would I rather not play those people or play them here? Sure. You know, because I think in college basketball, anytime you play at home, you got a chance.
What about the conference? What are you expecting?
Yeah, the conference, again, I think you got 5 or 6 teams. You've got, right now, probably the team that everybody is talking about or figuring up at the top is Middle Tennessee, but I'll tell you something, they lost some good players. They lost some really good players. They got they had some guys sitting out, and they had some 5th-year guys. Now, if they come in and do what them guys did, then there's no question that they'll probably be one of the top teams. I think Old Dominion is going to be, again, I think returns 4 starters. You got UTEP basically having their whole team, with, especially with Matt Williams getting his 6th year. That really helped their team, the big kid. Louisiana Tech. I think there's 5 or 6 teams there at the top, and then there's right now a bunch of us. And but you know, as I've said all along, when you've got as big a league as we've got, your schedule in the league can really decide and determine really how your season goes. Because if you're not like this year, I mean, we're playing all the best teams in the league twice. You know, you're playing and so you know, are so-called picked to be the best teams, and so you know, you could have a really good team and you know, let somebody slip up and beat you at home, and it costs you. But I don't think the league is as dominant in 1 or 2 teams, but I do think it's going to be more balanced. I think you can see some of those bottom 7 teams beat the number 1 or 2 teams, and I don't know if that's happened.
We're good? All right, thanks.
Hey, thank you all. Have a good day.
You too, Coach.
Appreciate y'all coming up.
Y'all want